So you are the CEO of Chosen Financial. Okay. Walk me through that process. Walk me through your services. Walk me through what inspired you to start this business. Let's talk about it.
You said walking through it. Oh my gosh. God is so good. You want the long version or you want the short version?
I want the long version. You thought I was gonna say
Oh
short, huh?
man. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say short just to give you some time.
Uh-huh.
Somebody give you some water in the bank. Just kidding. Oh man. Oh my gosh. So Chosen Financial. Man, I was working at Northwestern Mutual at the time, and I was a financial representative. I started my full-time contract, and what happened was it was my first year. This is 2019 as a full-time advisor. I was an intern before. This is my first time here as a full-time advisor. So, um, I enter and start doing Forex. Everybody was doing Forex at the time,
Yeah.
whatever. And I was really, really good at it. I was teaching people that looked like me, that was around my age, to, invest their money, make money, put money on top of money, all the things, stuff that we were never taught. And so that year, 2020, is when the pandemic went down. So many people came onto my team in Forex. But I always kept Forex and Northwestern Mutual, you know, separate. I didn't,
Right.
Bible said, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. I just kept it separate. I didn't bring any clients from over here to do this. I didn't bring any clients from Northwestern Mutual to do Forex. No, 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 no. It's separate.
Right.
So in 2020, I became top financial representative of the year in Louisiana and Mississippi. And I was
Congratulations.
23 years old.
Wow.
Thank you. 23 years old at the time. And what happened was the year 2021, everything fell apart. People started lying to me. Uh, Advisors started cheating my other partners out of money, and this is that and the third. And Northwestern Mutual couldn't do anything about it. God bless their soul, loved them. But I don't know, something just felt different. It felt like a time for a shift, and I've never felt this before. Like I said, my relationship with God, it was cool. It was all right, a little lukewarm, but I still felt the shift
Right.
that made me go step back and say, God, what's going on? I never had this happen before. What's going on? It made you have to stop. It was something so obvious that it made you have to stop and go, okay, tell me what's going on. All right. And so at the time, I was getting a home because the lease on my townhouse that I was renting out was coming up in June of 2021. And it was March of 2021. So I was looking for a home. I wanted it to have a rental property or whatever. So I'm leading Forex. I have about 500 people on my team at this time. I'm making $5,000 extra a month. I'm leading people on both my financial advisory side and this side. So I'm making a ton of money. Like, I'm 23 years old. I'm thinking I'm,
Wow.
finding my way. And at this time, when it was April of 2021, April's my birthday, I made 24. And I did a, I did a, I speak a lot. So when I was in Forex, I was speaking on stages. I was going across the nation, doing all the things. And so somebody had asked me to come on their platform and speak to some kids or something. It was like a radio show or something like that. And I did it. I got it approved by compliance and I was able to do it. So lo and behold, the next week I get called to the compliance office. I'm like, okay, hey, how's it going? And during this time, let me pause from the Northwestern Mutual. In Forex, I had a team called Last Generation to Struggle. We were going to be the last generation to struggle. We were the last generation to ever struggle because we were going to pass down the knowledge to our next generation.
I love it. That's awesome.
And I was talking to my representatives at Northwestern Mutual, and he was like, well, I like the name Last Generation to Struggle. I like it, but how about you shift it to something more positive? I said, what do you mean? They was like, don't have struggle in the title. But I didn't pour my whole life and soul into Last Generation to Struggle, LGTS. I couldn't even think about anything else to do. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just keep it as Last Generation to Struggle. So I get called into the compliance office. And it was like, Mikayla, who authorized you to go and do a radio show? I said, well, compliance officer, you weren't here. You were out of town for a week on vacation. And my money doesn't stop because you're not here. So what I did was I went to the federal, the top compliance people of Northwestern Mutual, and I got their approval. Here is the email. Here is all the things that was written down, so on and so forth. And they were like, well, next time you have to get it approved through us. I was like, okay, whatever. So, but the reason why they came to know about my radio show was because another advisor had come and told on me to the compliance officer saying, hey, how come Mikayla can be on the radio show and I can't have my own radio show? And it was a guy that had been there for like 15 years, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I'm like, why are you worried about me? What did
Right.
I do?
Right.
What? I so, you know, so they started looking at me a little deeper, a little bit more closely, and they found my social media page. So all of them followed me on Facebook. None of them followed me on Instagram. But I had a business page, so you're not really supposed to make your business page private. You're supposed to keep it public. My dad was saying, Mikayla, you should make it private. I was like, nah, because I'm in business. So, so they found my Instagram page, and on my Instagram page was nothing but Forex, me speaking, that I didn't get approved. I cannot lie to you, I didn't get approved. And then they come at me saying, hey, Mikayla, we need you to take down all this stuff on your Instagram page. And I was like, at this point, I was like, no, that's not happening. Then they proceed to tell me that it's a conflict of interest. As a financial advisor, I can't be talking about cryptocurrency and Forex and all the things because Northwestern Mutual can't regulate it. And I'm like, well, that's on y'all. Like, I can't, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not, when I repeat, not stopping this $5,000 extras a month. You are crazy. But not just the money, but the impact that I was making. Honestly, it was 500 people. It was people that I made a promise to help them get out of the bondage that they're in, get out the debt that they're in, save more money, know how to start making money for themselves. I see people laughing and smiling and being able to make money at the drop of a dime in 5 minutes, 1 minute. Like it was crazy. And at this point, I'm 23, so we traveling. I'm getting the G-Wagon. I'm getting the Lexus. We at the parties. I'm doing the hookah. We drinking whatever. So I'm being a 23-year-old. I don't do any of that anymore, right?
Right. I
But
understand.
yeah. So it's just I'm like I know what y'all want from me. So when you're buying a house, you're not supposed to change anything, especially your line of work. So it's May. And I'm like, I come back home. I was working in New Orleans. I come back home and I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to do. I come back home to Baton Rouge. I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to do. And I'm about to close on this property. It's Wednesday. I closed on the property Friday. I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to do. This is tough. This is one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make because whatever decision I make changes the trajectory of my life forever. I stay at Northwestern Mutual. I stay in New Orleans. I get a home. If I stop Northwestern Mutual, then I got to go back home to Baton Rouge and live with my parents and just do Forex. And my mindset was, okay, God, what do you want me to do? My brother, I love my brother. But sometimes he doesn't give the best advice. But in this moment, he said, Mikayla, you're making it too complicated. House or no house? House or no house? Just whatever, house or no house. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, all right, cut off the lights, ask God what you should do, clear your mind. That's one of the best advice my brother could have ever given me. I cut off all the lights. I clear my mind. It's 12:40. I have a meeting at 1:00. I say, God, you have 20 minutes. I put him on the time schedule. I say, God, you have 20 minutes to tell me exactly what it is that I need to do. It has to be clear. At this point, I have been, for the past 2 months, racking my brain on what I should do. And I'm like, I'm fed up. I'm tired of going back and forth. And so I'm sitting there and I'm praying. I have my eyes closed. I didn't clear my mind. And all I hear is Mikayla. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. So I close my eyes again. And I'm praying. I hear Mikayla. Look, I open my eyes and my brother bursts through the door. And he's like soaking wet, soap all over him. And he's like, don't get the house. I said, what? He said, don't get the house. Don't get the house. Don't get the house. And so I look up and it's 12:59. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I don't know. I was in the shower and I was talking to God about you. And he just told me to tell you not to get the house. Okay, bye. Closes the door. And so I just sit there for like 60 seconds as it turns to 1:00. And I said, okay, well, that's my answer. And so, because I had to think about it, I was like, why would somebody jump out the shower without rinsing off? He had soap all over him. Like he was sooty. Like he was full of suds and didn't even rinse off and come bursting through my door. I thought I had it locked. Don't get the house. And so at this point, I had to call my realtor and say I couldn't move forward. Boy, was she mad at me. Ooh, she was mad at me.
I can imagine.
I look back and I thank God that I didn't get that house. Because I was settling more than not. I just, like I said, wanted it for an investment property. But so I come back home and I'm doing Forex. Last generation of struggle. We running it. And then my dad says, hey, Mikayla, you should try to go work for another independent financial firm here in Baton Rouge. I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not going through it again. No, I'm not a financial representative anymore. I quit. Not I quit, but like, I just, at this moment, I'm hurt. And so I don't know what the next level looks like or another firm looks like because I'll probably have to go through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to wait it out. I don't know what to do. And so here comes October. So I'm still traveling. I didn't went to 14 different states from June to October. I didn't travel a lot. And just blowing money. Out of that, I blew $40,000.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Right. Right. So I calculated it. I did. I blew $40,000. And so I got to this guy and he's like, Mikayla, I can help you. I said, no, I don't know if you can help me. I'm okay. Because he had his own financial firm. It was a Black-owned financial firm here in Baton Rouge. And he was like, Mikayla, I can help you. I was like, how? What are you doing? He was like, I can show you the way. I can give you education because what I needed for my next level as a financial advisor, I needed some more education. I needed to know what I'm saying to these people. And he was like, I can educate you. I can help you or whatever. I said, why do you want to help me? He said, because I know your people and I know you cut from a good cloth and apple don't fall too far from the tree. And I just know that I can have you on my team. And I'm like, I'm going to pray about it. And so gung ho, needless to say, I joined him. And I easily, with peace, dropped Forex. And I was like, God, why was it so hard before 6 months earlier? And now it's super easy to let go of Forex and follow this man. He said, because this is the place I'm telling you to go. I said, okay. So during this time, I do my last what is it? Seminar presentation of Forex, and we called it the Chosen Generation. And I have it on my wrist every single day. The Chosen Generation, you are chosen. I have it. I'll give you one as well. You are chosen.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's on my wrist every single day. And we had from 2021, I haven't taken the bracelet off. And it was an amazing event. It was in Atlanta, had a lot of great and amazing speakers there. And the Chosen Generation just stick, because I was like, last generation to struggle. Well, maybe I don't want struggle in my title anymore. Maybe I want us to be the chosen generation. Like God said of who we are. 1 Peter 2:9. That's where it comes from. We are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. And I'm like, yeah. And so the chosen generation just really spoke to me because it helped me understand why I've been so different my whole life. It helped me understand why I was the prayer. It helped me understand why I've been separated and set apart. When everybody wanted to do those things like party or whatever, I'm like, guys, do we really have to? Like, I only did it because everybody else is doing it, but deep down inside, I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to partake in these activities because I just always thought something else was better or funner or whatever. And so chosen, a holy nation, I had to figure out what the word holy meant. It meant to be set apart. And I was like, God, is this? I used to drink just to have fun. I was the party animal. I was in the middle of the floor with my shirt off, but that was because I had to drink to get fun. Right. 4 shots of Patron with a daiquiri, I was straight, and then a beer to cap the night off. I was good. Like that was me. But I was like, okay, chosen generation. We are the chosen generation. And so that started my relationship with Christ. And then lo and behold, the guy that I was working with, he was a prophet. Wow. And so, yeah. I remember December 15th. This is my testimony right here. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. This is my testimony right here. December 15th. The guy was named Peter. Sheesh. If you know anything about Peter in the Bible, y'all, look. Made them fishers of men. Okay, so Peter came and he was like, Mikayla, I need you to sit down. And I said, okay, what's up? What's going on? So the very first day I came into that place, that office space, a man came to the office and said, okay, hey, Mikayla, I see you working here now. Slapped $3 million on my desk. He said, do something with it. I said, huh? What?
She said, huh?
You want me to do what? He said, do something with the money. And so right then and there, Peter knew that I was special and he had the right person on his team because Peter ain't never seen that kind of money. I've never seen that kind of money. And so fast forward December 15th, he said, Mikayla, I need you to come to my office. I need you to tell you something. And I said, okay. And at this point, I'm still trying to find my way, still trying to figure out what's going on. Peter was like, okay, you're going to be what did he call me? The junior partner of my firm. I said, okay, cool. And he said, but Mikayla, there's something that I have to tell you. I said, okay, well, what is it? He said, you don't have because you're not capable. That's not why you don't have. You don't have because you're not obedient. And that shook me, like beat me up like a ton of bricks. Like, when that movie Get Out, and when they're stirring the tea and then you go into the sunken place, like I felt like, I felt
Yep.
like I was like looking through my lens in my eyes, but I was falling in a deep pit of despair because I knew exactly what he was talking about in being obedient because I didn't want to give up my flesh. I didn't want to shed this part of my life that I had been holding on my life for the past 20, no, past 15 years. Man, so he said, Mikayla, you have shallow faith. Your faith is shallow, and God in this season wants to take you to the deep. You want to know everything so much. You want to know why behind the what. You want to know the answer to every single thing. But God is trying to take you somewhere where eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. Your eyes haven't seen, your ears haven't heard, but you won't let him because you have to know everything.
Wow.
And I just sat there and I just took the beating. I took the beating. And he was like, he wants to take you to a place of deepness, like to out into the water where you can't even see your feet at the bottom. A lot of people where you walking in the shallow water, you can see your feet, you can see where you're going, but he wants to take you to a deeper place. So much so that he'll rise you up and make you walk on the water.
Wow.
Peter.
Why
So
you have a little faith,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That deep.
That's
So
wild.
I knew exactly, I knew exactly what he was talking about. So December 16th, 2021, I said goodbye to homosexuality. I was talking to a girl at the time, and before this, like a couple months before this, I was like, look, we not gonna make it to the beginning of 2022. I just want you to know that. I told you not to fall for me. I told you this, I told you that. Like, I told you this. Like, but I was playing. It was a joke. It wasn't for real. No, lo and behold, December 15th, he called me and he was like, you need to stop. And he's been telling me to stop, right? For like since whatever. So I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, I'm like, God, this is what you want me to give up, isn't it? He's like, yes, Mikayla, I'm calling you out because you're set apart, you're chosen. And so it was hard. I had to go on a fast. I went on a 3-day fast at the end of the year. And God was like, that's cute. But you need to go on a 40-day fast. 40-day fast breaks things. 40 days fasts, and it was a 40-day fast from her. It was a 40-day fast from her. It was a 40-day fast from that relationship, that soul tie, because I had a soul tie with this woman,
You're gonna be crying.
right?
Golly.
I had a soul tie with this woman. And so um it was crazy because she was one of my best friends that I had to give up because it wasn't in God's will, you know? So 40-day fast at the beginning of the year, you know how they have the Daniel fast and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I butchered the fast. I fell in the fast. I reached out to her in the fast. I did not do the fast correctly. Okay. It just didn't go well. It didn't go well. And I was like, okay, God just wants me, not to, be in a relationship with her in this way, but we can still be friends. It's the enemy trying to, make me,
Mm-hmm.
kind of figure out how we could still be acquaintances. And
Yeah.
no, no. So I butchered the fast. Her birthday was coming up, and I was supposed to go to her. She didn't live in my state. And so that's why I went on like 14 different trips because I was going back and forth to her state. And I had the money so I can just do whatever I wanted. So um I end up falling again. I end up not doing what I was supposed to do, falling, but then I got back up and I said, God, I'm sorry. I'm trying, but I don't know what it is that I don't know how to go through this. Help me. But God was like the chosen generation. Set apart, you're holy. Just understand. the chosen generation. So at this point, um, it's my birthday. She comes down for my birthday because we're still in touch. I'm still trying to see how we can be friends, but my flesh is like, it's weak. It's weak. I'm gonna fall again. I'm gonna mess up again. I'm gonna indulge in homosexual practices again. Like this isn't a good idea, Mikayla. Don't do it. I did it. She came down for my birthday, messed up again. But then I got back up. We did what we did, but I ended the night crying, hurt, because now I have a conviction in my heart about what is going on. I never felt like this doing these actions before. Why all of a sudden can't I do what I used to do anymore and not feel a thing? Because God called me out. Many are called, few are chosen, right?
Right.
So God called me out and helped me understand, Mikayla, you've been set apart. The whole time, every time, like when I was younger, it was like I was in second grade and I was playing basketball. And people would call me gay. And I was like, I came home one day, I said, Mommy, what does gay mean? And she looked at me. She looked at me like, why are you asking me this? And I was like, oh, no reason. Because I didn't want to tell her that they were calling me this. I knew it was a negative thing, but you know, my mom, she'll go up to a kid in a heartbeat and punch him. Like she she she's, one of those parents. So I didn't want nothing to happen to anybody. So I just, kind of brushed it under the rug, but it was a seed that was planted in my life when I was younger, that the enemy tried to take over my life, that the enemy tried to get my life off course, that the enemy tried to use to make me feel inadequate. And being a basketball player, I don't want to say it's inevitable, but it's of high influence, especially back in the day. You have to wear the baggy shorts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to look like you know how to play. You have to have, like I said, the sweatband and you have to have the drip to look like you knew what you was doing. You couldn't come up there now. They got the short shorts with the long sleeve on the leg and the other leg. You couldn't look like a girl and play basketball. You couldn't.
Wow.
So that lifestyle at 10 years old attached to my soul then. But I always knew. My parents caught me growing up, they stayed up until 7 a.m. trying to, tell me about God and open the Bible, and they ain't never damn me to hell, but it was close to it. So every day in my heart, I knew it was something that I was doing was wrong, but I numbed it to where I didn't feel it, but it was still in the back of my mind what I was doing. And so she came down. Like I said, for my birthday, I fell. And at this point, the guy that was a prophet, that was also the guy that was over the independent agency, him and his wife were prophets. So I was opening up to him a little bit more. They were inviting me over to his house. And then one day, July 17th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., I had a urge to get to his house. So I go over there 6 p.m. and he's listening to a prophetic call when I get there. And the atmosphere was kind of already set before I walked into the room. Him and his wife are going around the room praying in tongues to God. And I walk in, I'm like, what is going on? What is happening? And they're talking about deliverance. And at this point, I was going through so much spiritual warfare. It was terrible. Like, it was terrible. I was hurt. I was like growling. I was fighting. I was punching pillows. I was just screaming at the top of my lungs in my car so much until I started to cry. Like, it was a whole bunch of spiritual warfare happening, trying to get out of this stronghold that had been over my life for 15 years, trying to step away from this soul tie. But every time I close my eyes, I picture the woman. every time I closed my eyes, like I would have a dream of sexual pleasures. Like every single time, it was torment. It hurt, but I knew I didn't want to go back. I just didn't know how to let it go. Right.
Right.
So went to his house and the prophetic call went off, and his wife looked at me and she said, "What do you need help with?" I told her, "I guess deliverance." I don't even know what that is, but help me, show me. And so from 7 o'clock now to 10 o'clock, we go through full on deliverance. They're casting things out. I'm crying, I'm growling, like it's full on manifestations happening in this moment. I've never in my life, I've never seen this before. I was so confused at what was going on. But as soon as I left their house, I felt tons and tons times lighter. But there was still something left in me though that I knew I had to still deal with. I was like throwing up. I saw a face floating in my throat. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, wow, spiritual warfare is really real. At this
It's
point,
real.
I'm really seeing, okay, these are real demons. Like this is really happening. Like this isn't something that people just talk about. No, this is really
It's
spiritual
real.
warfare. This is the stuff
Absolutely.
that I'm going through. Like this is how the enemy can, like I start like it's like a whole new lens comes over my eyes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see. And so at this point, call me crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm delivered. So I still try to be
Yes.
right. So I still try to be friends with this woman. That's just something that I had to deal with.
Letting go.
Letting go. That's one of the hardest parts. And but something that she told me back in February of that year, I was on the phone with her, and I was like, I was crying on the phone because I knew I wasn't supposed to be on the phone with her. I was like, "What do you want from me?" But I wasn't talking to her. And it clearly said, it wasn't her. It clearly said, it came in the voice of her, but it wasn't her. It clearly said, I want your soul. It said, I want your soul. And I kind of snapped out of it. I said, what you said? I said, why would you say that? So after I got delivered, November comes and I go to a homecoming, and because she invited me, I said, God, if something happens at this homecoming, I'll never try to, I'll know, no, I said, I'll know that we cannot be friends in this season of my life. I'll know that. I'll know that. If something happens, I'll know that we'll never be friends. So I enter into homecoming with her. And lo and behold, nothing happens. But something did happen. Nothing happens, but something did happen.
Talk about
It
that.
was
Oh,
enough. It was enough. It was just enough for me to realize, yeah, no, too soon. Because at the end of the day, I get there, we have a great time. Nothing really happens, but something happens in a sense to where if I would have said yes, it would have been on like Donkey Kong, for real. If I would have said yes, it was temptation enough. It was just a slither enough. It was like, you won't surely die,
just like Adam and Eve.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You won't surely die. Like it was like, come on, let's do what we used to do. Wasn't it fun? Come on, it doesn't mean anything. You already know, like,
That's what Satan does. See, every time.
you know, just come over and lay over here really quickly, like we did, like before. Like nothing happened, nothing gotta happen. And
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm okay. At this point, I didn't know other people were praying for. My best friend was praying for me at the time because she knew everything that I had been going through, and she was mad at me for even going. But she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna pray," and it was the prayers of people that kept me sane, that kept me seeing what was going on, that kept me still listening, that kept me heightened to what was going on around me. And I said no. She was like, "You're so beautiful." You know, it was one of those things to where, yeah, if I would have said yeah, it it would have been terrible. But I said no when I went home. And so that was the last time I seen her. And then it's the end of 2022. And I hear God say, go on a 40-day fast again. I was supposed to go on a 40-day fast at the beginning of the year. I said, I'm going to go on a 40-day fast. And this time, I'm not going to reach out to nobody. No more relationships. I'm at the point with no new friends. Nothing. I just want to clear my mind. 40 day, another 40-day fast the right way. I look up the date of how many days we have left in the year. At that time, it was 40. Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy. That's wild.
So almost finished with the story.
No, you're good. I'm enjoying it.
So I go on a 40-day fast. It was perfect. I had so much peace. I had so much joy. My life was settled. I felt like I could be at the top of the world. I didn't talk to the woman. I wasn't trying to entertain anybody else. I wasn't trying to figure things out. Like I was still waiting on God to give me an answer because the 40-day fast was for me to get an answer if I should take her on this journey of Christ and everything with me, because I saw her also. And this is what kind of made me want to be friends with her. I saw her also trying to get out that light. I saw her also trying to come over to Christ. And I'm like, God, is this my burden to carry her with me? Like, so we could do this together? And so that was like my thought process around the 40-day fast. And it was the first day of the new year, 2023. And I had a clarity like no other. I had reached out to her and I told her my 40-day fast is over, but I don't think we can be friends. When I tell you she got enraged, it was a different kind of enraged. It was a different kind of, I said, ooh, that spirit me mad. Okay. That spirit was
Thanks.
I was like, look, I can't partake in. He's like, really? Really? No, it was crazy. So I was like, look, everybody in my life, because God was sending me so many different prophets in 2022. Like I had been introduced to 5 different prophets all of 2022. Like it was like doom, 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 doom. I'm like, goodness gracious, I ain't never met so many prophets a day in my life. So
That shows you how much God loves you. That shows you that.
what?
That shows you
What?
completely, for sure.
Oh my gosh. And so she's angry, she was upset. But I was like, everybody in my life is on fire for God, is, doing the Lord's work. All my friends were, in ministry and this is that and the third. And I had just cultivated these relationships in 2022. And so I'm like, I have so much peace now. I don't want to go back to the warfare that I was in, because it's not you, it's the spirit on you. Because you wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with spirits and principalities. It's not you, it's the spirit on you that I can't deal with no more. When you get that spirit up off you, we might can talk. But right now, I can't have no dealings with you. So she said she understood, whatever. Hadn't talked to her since. Okay, great. So I had been having some problems with the guy that was a prophet over the industry of what he over his business. I've been having some problems. And not too big of problems, but it was just something to kind of measure fruit by. And in March of this year, God said it's time for you to go. some of the same signs that were happening at Northwestern Mutual was happening again. And it was like verbatim. And I'm like, God, I don't want these signs to be me being, a quitter or nothing like that. Cause I don't quit. I can just tough it through it. Like, I want to make sure this is you and not just me and my emotions being wrapped up that. And so he was like, no, Mikayla, it's time to go. Our company at the time was transitioning to Prudential, which is where I am now. $1 trillion company. And it kind of reminded me of Northwestern Mutual. And so the guy was like, okay, Mikayla, we're transitioning to Prudential. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And God was like, it's time for you to leave. And I said, okay, God, well, I don't have a place to go. I don't have an office space. I don't have a book of business. All my book of business came to this guy because I was bringing in the fish for him to kind of close and whatever. Like, I don't have a book of business no more. I gave my other book of business to Northwestern Mutual. Like, I'm starting all over again. This is my third time starting over. And I don't have an assistant. Like, what's going on, God? Okay. I said, okay, but you got to help me. Help me. Help me.
Yeah.
And what happened was, crazy part, December 16th, exactly a year from when I made the decision to quit homosexuality, December 16th, 2022, me and my family signed an ownership, signed for a strip mall. So now we own a strip mall.
You better go ahead.
And so, yeah, exactly a year, December 16th, the same, man, it's crazy. So I said, okay. God was like, that strip mall y'all just bought? Well, you got 12 slots. Pick one. I said, oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I'm like, okay, all right, well, what about a book of business? What about this? What about that? And so I call a guy and I meet him at a cute little coffee shop. And Xavier, if you know Xavier, we're a big family. If you're an alumni of Xavier, man, we'll take the shirt off our back for you. Like, it's a big family. And so much so, like, I'll pull up to a car wash. I have a Xavier license plate. They were like, let me wash your car for you. Let me pump your gas for you. You're like, it's like really, really big if you're from Xavier. And so a guy comes to me, and there's an alumni chapter here in Baton Rouge. And he's the president of the alumni chapter. He was like, look, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm about to give you a list of 500 doctors to call. Have at it. Do you think? Guy was like, there go your book of business. I said, oh, okay.
God is so good. Wow.
All right, cool. I said, okay, well, what about an assistant? What about that guy? Like, what am I going to do with there? And because I knew the amount of work that I was going to be doing, like, I could not, nope, couldn't do it by myself. And so all of a sudden a woman calls me, and it's her birthday. And it was the woman that used to be our assistant at the place that I was currently at, but she left like about 8 months before. And the crazy part about it is he had went through 3 assistants in a year and a half. So that kind of tells you, yeah, whatever. So she calls me. She says, hey, it's my birthday. I said, oh, hey, happy birthday. She said, did anything at the office arrive for me? I heard something at the office arrived for me. I said, oh, yeah, it did, or whatever. She was like, okay. And me and her had a great relationship. Like, she was amazing. Like, oh my gosh, the office managers of all office managers, like, dope. And I hung up the phone with her, and God was like, there go your office manager. Tell her you're going to call her back later. I said, okay. And so God was like, when I got off the phone with her, God was like, I've been showing you how to run your own office, what to do and what not to do for the past year and a half. I've been calling you out of darkness into my marvelous light. I've been shifting you. I've been molding you. I've been carving you. I've been showing you, you are chosen, Mikayla. I'm choosing you to lead your people out of financial darkness, to know that I've called them to be a royal priesthood, because you can't be royal and broke. But it ain't broken your pockets, it's broken your mindset. Teach them mindset, Mikayla. I've imparted into you wisdom, but I've shown you how to run your own office. I've shown you what to do and what not to do. I've shown you how to treat the people that are going to be working under you. I've shown you how to treat clients. Your name has been made great in this city, but it couldn't have been in the lifestyle that you were in. So I had to call you out at this particular time. And so at an instant, I had a business called The Chosen Generation. Is still here. I was giving out wristbands to people so that everybody knows every day that they are chosen. Even at the LSU games, anybody that would go to the games with me, I'd give them a wristband, I'd video them, I'd say, hey, why are you chosen? And they would tell me why they're chosen or whatever, whatever.
I peeped that on your page. I thought it was dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was pretty dope. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be called Chosen Financial. And it's called Chosen Financial because everybody that's going to be coming into this place that becomes a client of mine, I received this in a prophecy as well. She said, everybody that comes through your doors that becomes a client of yours, their money is going to be chosen. Their money is going to what did she say? Extra ordinarily grow. It's going to be attached, and they're going to receive overflow in their life. The blessings are because of you saying yes. God is going to be able to say yes to them in the realm of finances over their life. And I said, wow, that's what? And so Chosen Financial just made a whole bunch of sense because I was just like, everything I touch belongs to you guys. I want everybody to know that the success that I get, the goals that I reach, the people that I help is all for his glory. Because I wouldn't be here today if he didn't call me out of darkness. I wouldn't be here today if he didn't take me from my mess. If I wouldn't be here today if he didn't show me the way and align my footsteps, even though I didn't know my footsteps were being aligned. The goodness of God, the grace of God to call me out, what makes me special?
You're chosen. You're chosen.
And now everybody I come into contact with, I'd be like, you got to make sure you know that you're chosen. You know that you know that you know, no matter what obstacle you may face, no matter what comes in your path, no matter how the enemy tries to get you off course, God says he'll make your crooked way straight. You don't have to worry about that. Just know that you're called. All you have to do is answer the phone.
And don't give him the busy syndrome either. It's so much I got from what you were saying. And three things stood out to me, right? The importance of faith, right?
Oh man.
Trusting God. Obviously, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You have to trust and believe in the things that you're asking God for. Or believe that what he says is true, right?
Sure.
But another thing you said was obedience. Obedience. That is not easy. Obedience is better than sacrifice, right? But in order for you to be obedient, it requires faith for you to be obedient, right?
Yeah.
And then, not to mention, and this is what I really want to thank you for, is your transparency. And this is for everybody out there who's experienced or who are currently experiencing homosexuality, that there's hope for you.
Yeah.
That God can deliver you.
Yeah.
That God has a plan for your life.
Sure.
You're not your mistake.
Yeah.
And you can be set free from whatever you are dealing with.
Yeah.
And homosexual is that. Right?
Yeah.
And far too often,
Absolutely.
all we're seeing all across this country and all around this world is pride this, pride that. Failing to
We
realize
don't
the
know.
definition of what pride is, right?
Pride is the exact opposite of humility.
It is.
And the Bible says pride comes before destruction. And I've been actually doing deep dives into homosexuality or whatever. And honestly, you know, people that operate in that place, they just want to feel loved. They don't want to feel like um that they're crazy for being attracted to the same sex, because when you're growing up, you people said that you were crazy, that you were deranged, that you were stupid, like you were handicapped, like something was wrong with you, like,
Right.
you know and you're trying to figure out why. And then now we have God is love, so you should love me anyways. And it's not that Christians don't love you. It's more along the lines of understanding who God has called you to be. But I had this is what started the unraveling of my homosexuality. It wasn't that God telling me, be obedient. It was one in 2017. I was in the bed with a woman and I woke up out of my sleep and I was like, I gotta go. Like it was like a racing of my heart. It was like, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. So that was one in 2017. But in 2021, October or September of 2021, I was watching Transformation Church. I was really heavy into Mike Todd at the time, and he brought on Tim Ross. And Tim Ross did a sermon called "Help I'm Horny," and that sermon changed my whole perspective on homosexuality. He said, really quick, he said the attraction isn't the sin, the action is. Now, we can easily make that legalism a licensure. Oh, okay, I can still be attracted and not be sinning and whatever. But when I was transitioning my life over to Christ, I said, God, I don't want to be attracted to anything I can't truly have.
That's right.
I said, so take the desires away from me, because if not, that's torture. So if I wasn't supposed to be in this realm or in this way or whatever, I said, I don't want to be longing for it, desperate for it, hurt by it. I don't want those desires. And then he said, you know, in the Bible, you never see in the Bible where homosexuality isn't coupled, is by itself. It's coupled with so many other sins around it. Neither drunkard, neither fornicator, neither whatever would inherit the kingdom of God,
Cheating
whatever.
people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, why would you talk these things? But at the end of the day, it gave me a freedom to know that I wasn't crazy. The Bible says, first the natural, then the spiritual. So you might have been born liking the same sex, but you're born into sin. It's not until you become a new creature that your desires shift in your heart, that your taste buds change, that you look at things differently. So yes, you might have been born that way, but God said not to stay that way.
Say it. Say it.
He calls us. So even though it's natural, know that you got a spirit man on the inside of you. Your flesh is natural, but we're supposed to die to our flesh daily.
Daily.
But you don't get these revelations until you really sit there and be like, okay, God, I really want to pursue a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Not the God that I want you to be.
Right.
The God that you actually are. I have to start opening my word. I have to open my heart to the possibilities. What is life outside of liking my same sex? What is this outside of just everything that I've known before? I've all the relationships, me personally, all the relationships I've had ended in destruction. Like I couldn't move forward with them. I couldn't tie the knot with this person. I couldn't move. I couldn't go to the next level. It was just something that kept stopping me. And it would end in heartbreak. It would end in pain. It would end in confusion. And I was like, God, I'm tired of this same cycle like you talked about. Tired of this same cycle. I want something different. I want something prosperous. I want something that's going to stick, that's going to stay, that I don't have to. And I said, maybe if I just try it your way, let me just see. Yes, it's going to hurt. Man, did it hurt like heck. It hurt like heck. It hurt my heart. It
I
was
can imagine.
a complete surrender. It was a complete sacrifice. Sometimes I'm crying in my sleep with a lump in my throat. I can't breathe. Like, but it's so worth it. Oh my God. The revelation, the reverence, the forgiveness that he had given me over my life, the grace, the favor, the mercy, the anointing. Now, I swear, I don't miss it at all.
I love this. I love this. I love this. And that's why it's so important, like you said a few minutes ago, to deny yourself. Notice what the next part says: take up your cross, because it symbolizes submission, right? You have to submit to God, but also his will for your life, right? And when you really understand that and get into the word, like you said, you'll be able to understand, okay, hey, listen, I was made in his image. I was made to be with this, the opposite sex. I was made to do this. I was made to do that.